Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another horrific review. I got told off earlier today. I don't know if you saw our TalkSpot live stream, but apparently leaving Cameron out some of these videos, I got a smack on the wrist for, so that was funny. He does agree with me with that one because basically, Dead Silence was the first movie John Mann made. So if you watch that first, you would kind of have a completely different perspective. For me, it's like his 10th movie or something I've watched, or how many he's done. So I've already been burnt out after watching it. So I stand by that respect, ever since just done the same thing. But it was just funny, like, what'd you do watching that without me? Great. Hopefully when his schedule gets a bit better, we'll get him on here as well and start reviewing some other cheesy stuff, because there's so many bloody movies, man. How can you keep up? And plus, I'm trying to stay away from, like, the whole format of this is watch a movie, review it as soon as possible. So either watch that day or the night before, and then just go and give them a gut feeling. I'm trying to avoid researching and getting into trends and all that kind of guff, because the whole point is to give an honest review, and then you can either agree with me or disagree with me. If you agree with me, then there we go. We've got a guide. If I like a movie, I happen to agree on it, then maybe you like the next one I recommend. Excuse me, sorry about that. Also, if I tell you to stay away from stuff, then, you know what I mean? It's just to help you out, because in the end, there's absolutely tons of movies. There's no way getting through them all. I have a good stab at it, like, but even the current release schedule is doing one of these a night, and that's a lot of movie watching. And holy crap, even then, I'm still not touching the surface. There'll be 100 movies I've invested out in a certain area. That's the way it is. But we all try our best. In the end, it's just a bit of fun. It's not your entire life. And we're here to have a laugh. Talking of which, this movie, Cupid, it's obviously an independent horror. It's so bad it's funny. It's that sort of level that it's just done that much on the cheap. It's sci-fi channel type, graphics. So I'll give you an indication. I know acting and stuff, and it's just hilarious. So we start off. We'll have this weird scene in the diner, and we've got this guy giving it Billy Big Balls, how he's a millionaire and this and that, and freaking, oh my god, he's just tedious. Listen to him, and then turns out his date met him on like sugardaddy.com. So she's looking for somebody who is a twat like that anyway, but he's that obnoxious as even she's going, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to climb out the window of the bathroom. It's that bad. Oh, man. Then have this guy's daughter miraculously appear about, I'm sorry, daddy, I'm sorry, crying. And then they're walking out the car park. He bumps into his date, and then Cupid arrives. And I mean, oh, God, people. Right. At what point do you look at something on screen and go, that's rubbish, I'm not going to do that? The picture of Cupid flying, and recycled this shot about 6 times throughout this movie, which is absolutely hilarious. The Cupid flying thing looks cheesy as hell. That'd have been better just maybe having a hint of flapping wings and him appearing. They did a better job with Death, so there's another character. You summon Death, and Death summons the Cupid. Freaking weird the way this is set up, but they did a better job with Death, giving him a bit of mystery. But Cupid, they've got like slapping out there, and he's scrawny as hell. They're trying to get him to show having superhuman strength, and he can barely lift. He's that weedy. It's man, it's a hoot. Honestly, just watch it to have a laugh. Honestly, a couple of people together, a few beers, and just giggle your heads off, because that's the level of this movie. That's a prologue. It's nothing to do with the main story. Then we'll have the second prologue, which is about Cupid and Psyche. And Venus is jealous because based on the Greek gods. And we know the Greek gods, funny enough, last earlier stream we're talking about incest, but the Greek gods love their incest. And they love transforming into animals. And who is it? Not Robert Bloch. Bloch's his surname, but if you ever get the like compendium of Greek myths, it's about that long thick, like it's a big book, go through it. There's some messed up stuff. The Greek gods are capricious, jealous, horrible. Like during that era, it's just hell on earth because you could get struck down because some god shagged another god and shagged itself and had an affair with a human who's had an affair with another god, and then next thing you know, you and your entire bloodline's getting erased because of jealousy. So Greek mythology's fun. Hell of a lot to take in, but that's what this is kind of based off. So the idea is that Cupid and Psyche, lovers, from afar. Cupid wanted permission from Venus to be together with Psyche. Venus said no because she's an aging goddess, because that makes sense. An immortal aging. Yeah, you work out one out too, but this is what they're doing. Jealous of her beauty, sets Psyche 3 impossible tasks. Psyche just about completes them, then falls down to the steps of Venus' temple, so doesn't, and blah. Cupid carries her, she dies, so Cupid then swears to kill all love and poisons his. Oh, he tries to save her life with the arrow, that's what it was, but Venus poisoned him. Like, talk about a complete. I need to actually look that up because I don't remember the story of Cupid, if I'm honest. But yeah, this is mental. Like, even this prologue. So basically, what they're saying, they're giving an example of somebody summoning Cupid in the real term, and then give the prologue of the story. That could have been read out. You know what I mean? We could have done a library scene and read that out rather than a whole convoluted prologue, and maybe saved a bit of money for more special effects. But there you go. Then we'll go to modern day. Now, I've tried to actually look this up before doing this. I'm convinced this has been shot in the UK. Not the first part, but this part in the school. I'm convinced it's a UK school with UK uniforms, and because even when they get in the car, the steering wheel's on our side. So, but everyone's got an American accent, and some are like a bit funny. Like there's an English librarian, no, school secretary, and then there's people with funny accents, which makes me think that they're actually British, but not American accents. It's a bit mad. It's an American production, so I wonder if they actually came to shoot it at the school. I don't know. I can't find out. It's because it's indie and there's not too much information about it. It's hard to find out. Obviously, I haven't done the interviews and stuff. It'd be interesting to know. But yeah, we have Faye's our main character, and she starts off just casting a love potion, a love spell. How can I put this? Saw the tripody as well. If you're going to carry out rituals, be committed. This whole goth chick reading from a book half-heartedly is boring. If you're going to cast greater magic spells, be committed to the act. Actually, have a ritual where you have a bit of scene and passion, because that's where a lot of these movies fail. What was it? The flipping. I don't know if you should I even review that one, the Craft sequel. If you've seen that, God, that's horrendous. Remember the first Craft movie and the way they did the ritual, and there was actually emotion and feeling behind it, and they actually give it a bit of gravitas. So they're actually conjuring, they're actually calling out the attention of a god. You know, if you're doing it in terms of theistic, calling spirits and gods, you want that entity's attention, don't you? So you don't just go meh, 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 meh. You wanna, love and hate are the most extreme emotions a human can have. They're both ends of the spectrum. So you don't just go, you know what I mean? Plus, if you're going to cast a love spell, and the reason I'm going on about this is because it's relevant later on. If you're going to cast magic and a spell, especially to do with turning another's attention towards you, and in terms of lust, destruction, if somebody's harmed you and you want to destroy them, if you've got the object of your desires and you want them and you want to put your energy out there to influence that person. Fucking be committed. This half-hour, there's for spend a bit more time on the ritual. They could have cut out that second prologue. That first prologue served no purpose whatsoever. So actually having proper rituals and maybe reading from the book, and if she's supposed to be a practicing witch, so therefore, what's wrong with spending a bit of time her reading her tomes in between her days at school? Just a suggestion, I'd be more invested. I know that for a start. And that doesn't cost money. That just is a bit of effort and emotion. But there you go. So what we're going through, we're setting up a Valentine's Day ball. Oh, I remember I barely remember school because I'm an old fart, but I remember that became a trend in the 90s. Formals, like the American balls, they started doing that. And I was just like, nah. I could barely stomach being in school. I didn't like kids when I was a kid, so I wasn't going to go and hang out at one of them things. So that whole side of things completely anathema to me personally. So I couldn't get on board, getting excited or getting involved with the school getting ready for this. I'm just like, oh, fuck, here we go. But it's your typical high school. You've got the mean girls. They're all together in a little clique. They're the ones organising it. Faye's casting a love spell on her teacher. Yeah, that's always works out well. Meanwhile, she's got her best friend simping for her, who fancies her, and she completely disregards him. So that beats you over the head throughout this entire film. He really likes her, and she's just like, nah. The movie practically slaps you in the face with it. It's funny, but yeah, just the acting and stuff in this is just so tragically funny. It's great. You just gotta laugh. So this kind of meanders on. And that's what I mean. You read the premise and the description. A girl humiliated by mean girls. This doesn't happen until about 3/4 way through the bloody film. So you've got all this shite going on, and the cool teacher, Matt. Here's a fucking weird one. He goes into no for like do a wee bit of research and teaching. And I'm not a teacher, but I've been in that sort of establishment. I've trained. I've worked with young people. You don't go into a bathroom on your own with a fucking kid. And plus, the secretary came to get him to let him know that Faye was in the bathroom and a chewing gum stuck to her. Like, what the hell is that? Why is she in the school office if the school secretary knows? And then why is the fucking teacher going in and sending the other people away to spend time alone in a bathroom with the people? That is don't get yourself in shit 101. Using American term, you just don't do that. So that was mental. And then he just goes and has a go at Elise is the bully. She's the main antagonist in this. She's one of those annoying characters you're waiting to die. And this movie teases you right at the end. It's nothing groundbreaking in this. She's like just nasty little. Oh, hi, Del. Good to see you. It's becoming a regular thing, but this just seems to be like the right time at night to do these before it gets too late. Yeah, this movie is. Don't know if you've been in from the start, but it's awful. But it's so awful, it's funny. But yeah, even in the school setup, this guy's just breaking all the rules, like getting in on his own with a pupil of the opposite sex. Yes, don't do that. You don't do it with the same sex. You just don't go into bathrooms, changing rooms with young people. Not worth it. And that's even been the case since when was I was a scout leader and stuff, back in 1997. Yeah, I'm old, sorry. But even then, you didn't do it. It just no. So how the fuck do you not know not to do that? That's so ingrained in culture now. Not there, but that's really good. And then he goes and has a go at Elise, the bully, and then she just goes, "Well, I could just accuse you of this, and then you'll not say anything." And then he's no comeback. And it's like, why would you put yourself if you're not that strong character? Because kids are horrible wee shites. They really are. And yeah, but in this one, Dale, I don't know, yeah, you must have just jumped in there and missed, but we'll start off this part of the film. Matt, the teacher, has been called by the school secretary to the bathroom because Faye, the main character, has got chewing gum in her hair. She's in the bathroom with her best friend, and this guy's been simping for her. So this guy's like fancies her, follows her around everywhere, and she basically completely doesn't acknowledge it. And it's the movie's beating you thing. So there's two of them in the bathroom, but then the teacher comes in, sends the guy out, so that he's in the bathroom alone. It doesn't make sense, right? That's what I mean. This is it just shows how cheesy and bad and that they're not really giving it to us. Like, and this isn't the money issue. This is just a wouldn't do that. No, she's the stalker. So it starts off. I'll go back a bit, seeing you in the chat. So basically, it starts off with Faye, the main character, casting a love spell on this teacher. We find out Matt, but the whole setup, he's no idea. He has no clue. He's just the normal nice guy teacher type. That's his character. But the fact that they call him into a bathroom, and if the school secretary's involved, she should be in the school office, not the bathroom. And he should not be getting into a bathroom alone with a teenage girl. That's just madness. So the fact that he even wrote that in the plot is bonkers. And then he comes out to confront Elise because she goes past. And then she actually pulls him up, going, "You're just in the bathroom alone there with a teenager." And then she says to him, because they're in the corridor alone, because what do you call that guy? Duncan, her friend, he's buggered off back to class. So he's just went from being alone in the bathroom with a teenager to coming out to being alone in a corridor with a teenager. He's alone in the bathroom with a teenager who's just cast a love spell on him, who fancies him. And then he's going in the corridor alone with a teenager he's just had a go at, who's a narcissistic bully, spoilt rich girl type, who then calls him out saying, "Oh, I can just accuse you of anything right now and you'll lose your job." And he just goes, yeah, that's the level of rightness. Just for that alone, you just makes you go, "What the hell is this I'm watching?" And that was coming up. So there you go. And like I said, the actual main point of this movie is it doesn't happen till about 3/4 away. It bounces around the school doing weird stuff. I'm preparing for this Valentine's ball. You've got Duncan trying to make overtures towards Faye. Faye's completely not interested. Her trying to talk to the teacher. There's this classroom scene, and he's trying to be authoritative, but he can't because it's a mess. And then she comes home to find her mum, and this is where the whole bad blood is because Faye's mother has stolen Elise's dad from her mother. You know, basically, he's left his wife and moved in with her, and then she walks in on them shagging in the middle of the day. And you're like, okay, right. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, heat of the moment stuff." Like, who the fuck has these conversations? Is that why we're the state we're in today? I'm the protecting kids from stuff, like just throwing it right out there. Like, it's mental. This whole story, the whole plot and dialogue is mental, but you have to watch it because it's funny. It's so tragically bad that you just can't help but laugh and go, "What the fuck have I just watched?" So, yada 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 stuff, plot filler, more stuff. Then we get down to the crux of it. Something happens. Matt leaves his phone in the classroom. The teacher, Elise, the mean girl, steals his phone and starts sending texts to Faye. "Oh, you're really great," and send like, okay, you're an impressionable young girl, and you might have, because you can understand why people are gravitated towards authority figures. It's that presence and safety stuff. So that's why like crushes happen with teachers and people in uniform and leaders and stuff. That happens. That's natural. It's how you deal with it. But guaranteed, The way to turn off a wee girl would start sending her lewd texts. And I'm no expert, but you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But if all of a sudden, oh, show me something, baby, can you show me something more? All of a sudden, the whole tone of the conversation goes that way over the phone. Because this is Elise and her friends using the phone they've stolen to send texts. So obviously they get her to, send a selfie and then a selfie with her bra, and I mean, it's that kind of stuff that they're setting her up. Then the thing happens where they basically get her, he has a setup that he wants to see her, and she goes and gets a rose, and it's actually quite tragic to do. And kids are evil. Let's be honest, they're evil wee shits. That's why you have to friggin' moderate them and be careful, because the stuff they do to each other is horrendous, and fucking adults don't need to involve that. But they set her up. Essentially, she comes up in the road, she goes to kiss him. He's like, oh, unless you're fucking Jimmy Savile, that's an adult's worst nightmare to have a kid come up and do that to you. You know what I mean? Uh, Holy crap. It's just, and then this wee girl, Elise, videos it. And then it fast forwards to the set her up. So basically, the night before Valentine's Day. Yeah, the day before Valentine's Day, they basically bring in, was it Valentine's cards to everyone, and then they use the projector screen to show the video in the school. So it's like on his whiteboard behind him, they're showing the scene of the kiss, and then they've plastered all the pictures of her all over the show. So yeah, really nasty, and I suppose a good thing highlighting the fucking dangers and what kids do to each other. Just be bastards. And the problem is, because of social media, they're given. Well, it's not social media's fault. Social media is just a tool, and that's why you need to just freaking be aware. You know what I mean? If you're a parent, be a parent. Or shit like that happens, but without being suffocating. People are complicated, aren't they? But there's always going to be this kind of shit. So what she does then is she goes home and then casts the worst ritual ever. And back to my thing at the start, if you're going to perform greater magic, be committed. Show the emotion. That's the whole point of greater magic, is to show emotion, to project your power into the world, to exact your will. And especially in this, when you're summoning an entity, how many people summon entities, get its attention. So if you're just going from a spell book and not putting any thought or emotion, especially if it's a destruction spell, which this is, if you're calling an entity to end all love, you should be pretty angry. So you should be almost pulling your hair out and ripping your clothes and screaming. That's the sort of intensity should be involved in that ritual. Yeah, I think I watched that. Is that the one where they did the role plays in between talking about like the algorithms? They talk about the algorithms, and then they put this like play with the family, and they take the phone off the wee girl and she smashes it with a hammer. Is it that one? Well, spells is a teenager thing. It's a Wiccan white letter, casting spells, but it's kind of cliche. If you want to actually cast magic, if you want to perform greater magic, you need to. It's your will that generates the energy that puts it out in the universe. It's you that causes gets the entity's attention. So that is entirely your will, your emotions, and as I said at the very start, love and hate are the two extremes of the human emotional spectrum. You know what I mean? They're both just as intense as each other. Problem is that people don't acknowledge hate as much as they do love, and they mix up love with infatuation, which is why I'm kind of going through this. I'm just trying to fill in plot because there's not much to this film, so I've got to, that's like I end up going on longer with these videos when I'm trying to explain something that's not in there than a good movie. I'm just like, oh great, go watch it. But yes, that's twice now. She's done a half-hearted ritual. She's done a half-hearted love ritual, and now a half-hearted hate ritual. And what she essentially does is she calls death to call Cupid. So you don't call Cupid directly, you call death which I didn't think death was in the Greek mythology. I always thought it was Hades, was Lord of the Underworld, uh, and then everyone else went to the Elysian Fields. So I don't actually remember there being a character of death. So this is where they're mixing up, I think, Greek and Western mythology, which pick one, stick with it. Once you start doing a bit of a mixed bag and no reason for it, or creating another sect, you know what I mean? If you're going to mix reasons, then what you have to do is find some reason for tribe one to meet tribe two, to fuse the two magics, and that's kind of the way it works. I can almost guess now. There's no research done on this whatsoever. It's just thrown together. You know what I mean? It's just an idea. I want to make a movie, and here it is. You know, it's that sort of thing. God, I hope I never talk to this director. I end up getting slapped about. It'll be just my luck. I'll end up meeting some of these people the way I'm starting to talk to film people and stuff now. They'll be like, remember you said that about my movie? I'll be like, oh shit. But it is what it is. That's the whole point of reviewing, is giving an honest opinion of what you think about something. But yeah, it's very sloppily thrown together, which is a shame. Because there's enough, you know what I mean? There's enough elements in the story to get going, but it doesn't happen. So we get this. Death comes down. Is this what you want? 100% sure. Yep. Then Cupid arrives. And I mean, the weediest, wimpiest Cupid ever. And honestly, if they saved a bit of money instead of that stupid flan thing, like I said, they recycled that flan thing, Sci-Fi Channel type graphics from the start of the movie, and they bring it in this point again twice, I think. You know, more of Cupid flying about the car park. You're like, oh my god, don't. You've just ruined your character. Worst Cupid costume ever. Then he appears in the bathroom to kill one of the mean girls. And the guy can barely, he's that scrawny. He can barely lift her. Like, it's like they got a teenager to play Cupid who the wee girl in real life could slap him about. You know, he's that scrawny and he's trying to make it look as if he's throwing her about, and it just it's just tragic. And then the whole using uses a cookie cutter, heart-shaped cookie cutter, and cuts out of her back. Like, it's almost like he's like modern devices. If I had it look like a brand or something, it would have been good, but he oh, jeez, I almost forgot about that for a second. Yeah, so he kills the first girl, cuts heart shapes out of her back, and then somehow between that gets baked into cookies because they see him in the hall. No, they all end up in detention. That's why. So Summer Ball gets cancelled because Faye and Elise have a fight. She punches her. Teachers get involved. Blah blah blah. So this is setting up the plot why they're all together and not the whole school. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. It's so bad, honestly. Fucking plot jumps all over the place. It's like a honestly, it's like a pogo stick going down, 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 down. Yeah, we got that for the first kill after the fight. First kill happens like within seconds. Then there's a big spell of stuff. Then they're eating cookies in detention. And they're very much like, oh, this tastes like pork. Oh, really? Oh, right. So it's a whole eating human skin, heart-shaped things. Oh, God, it was so terrible. It was awful. Like, I may as well scream, this is human flesh. It was just that. What were they doing? Who watched this back and went, oh, brilliant, we got to put that out there. I've deleted stories. I've recorded stories, right? And I've listened back and went, oh, that's crap, and deleted them and restarted again because I've been embarrassed. This is just, who the hell looks at this and goes, oh, it's brilliant. Oh, this is my masterpiece. I want the world to know me for this. What's his face? Scott something? Scott Jeffrey. You know, Scott Jeffrey went, oh, yes, this is my opus magnus. I'm going to take over the horror world with this one. Who gets killed? It's a pimp by numbers. People get killed in ones, essentially, and then or boyfriend. That's what happens. Her boyfriend comes to get her, Elise, because Elise doesn't do detention. She can't be controlled, so she storms out. her boyfriend then, this is the third time I think the fucking Cupid thing appears. The same recycled shot. Oh, you have to watch this movie for the Sci-Fi Channel goodness of the Cupid flying in the sky and looking down. Oh my god, it's just worth doing it for that. Seriously. Car park scene, Cupid's flying, looking down, and they're all like, ah! And then they can't drive away in the car because the car magically stops, then her boyfriend gets killed. And then it starts rapping through the rest. I'm not gonna. Holy shit, I've been at this for half an hour. Yeah, so then Faye realizes it's her that does this, and then she spends the rest of the time going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean this. Yes, you did. You called it. You knew what it meant. Death appeared to you. Death said, are you sure? And you're like, yes, I'm sure. And then when people get killed, you're like, oh, I'm not sure, I'm so sorry. And then she keeps apologizing to Elise going, I'm sorry. You should be sorry, my boyfriend's dead because of you. And this wee girl doesn't care about anybody but herself, so, meh. And then, you're saving her to last. That's just, let's be honest. You're not going to be surprised. It's on Prime. That's where I got it. So it's available in Prime, Amazon Prime. So if you check it out there, I don't know if that's the same in Australia, but that's where I got it here. So be worth a look. But yeah, the other two friends get killed. The teacher intervenes. Duncan gets shot in the arm with the arrow, and then we find out that the arrows are poisoned because it tells you at the start in the prologue thing. Yeah, it tells you that the arrows are poisoned because Venus poisoned them because she was jealous because she's the mortal goddess. That doesn't change, but somehow she's getting older, and a younger goddess appears. Like, yeah, whatever. Just go with it. Just switch your brain off and go with it. Don't think because you hurt yourself. I know I am talking about it. So they got Duncan to take him into the CDT. I don't know what craft design technology, woodworking shop, whatever you call it, in other places. It's probably a different name now. That's what I remember it. But he gets his arm. The teacher now, his solution is not to put a tourniquet on, but get his arm and clamp it in the vice. And then pulls out a saw and proceeds to saw off a pupil's arm. Because, yeah, you don't send your kids to school. If this school exists in real life, don't send your kids to it. Because holy crap. Unless you don't want them to come back after a year. Because they're not making it. This is the scariest school. Never mind before Cupid arrived. This is a frightening school. Because they obviously are dipshit crazy. But yeah, the teacher then goes and saws off a pupil's arm. Because not the fact that, this curse only lasts 24 hours. And this is about half an hour to midnight. So they can't put a tourniquet on, slow down the bleeding or the poison traveling. Can't do like first aid, put him in the position, elevate him above the arm. No, that doesn't work. Obviously, you have to go straight to sawing the arm off. Because apparently this curse just magically dissipates after midnight, the 24-hour periods of Valentine's Day. So that would include the poison and magic as well. So if you're not dead, then you just disappear by their rules that they've written. But nah, gotta saw an arm off. And you don't see anything. And then you see him with his arm tucked up his jumper because they obviously run out of money using that CGI effect for Cupid. Oh my god, I'm hurting myself talking about this. Seriously. This is tragic. How does this finish up? We're nearly there. Yeah. So everyone ends up back in the hallway again. And then Faye's like, oh, I can stop this. She calls Death again. And she tells Elise not to look at Death. If you look Death in the eye, he'll take you. So, of course, Elise's like, uh-huh. Death takes her. In fact, Death doesn't take her. Death just goes, points at her, and Cupid stabs her with an arrow. I don't understand the Death character in this. It makes no sense. They could have saved some money not paying for the Death character and just had Cupid as... In fact, it seems like the Death character was taller and a bit broader, so they could have swapped him and dressed him in the Cupid outfit instead of this wee scrawny boy that had run about. I know Cupid's meant to be a cherub, traditional, but this is not. This is a horror movie that doesn't give a shit. So you could at least make Cupid a bit imposing, or go with a Greek statue, or have him at least well built. And if you can't, at least cover him up if he doesn't have an 8-pack. It might have went a lot better. But yeah, bringing Death in to go to tell Cupid to do stuff or not do stuff. Kills Elise. Then it turns midnight. Everything stops. Oh yeah, he's saved. Elise gets up again, and then Faye whacks her. So Faye went from I'm sorry to Elise comes to life again. Oh no, you're not, and then whacks her to make sure she's still dead. Like, that was a bit of a switch. But there you go. Then it all finishes up. They're in the car park. Helen did mention she's another teacher. She's not much of a character. She's a bit of a love interest for Matt. Yeah, fucking half the story. That's why I keep forgetting. Half the story is about Helen and Matt dating each other, and nobody giving a shit, and them acting as if they do. Go figure. Yeah, that was half of this part of the plot. Didn't need to happen. They had them out having drinks together and stuff. Like, okay, what's the significance? Because even if Matt was single, unless he's Jimmy Savile, you're not dating a freaking teenager. Come on. Unless there's something tapped in your head and you've got broken bits, that way you need chemically castrated anyway. In my opinion, without prejudice, or with prejudice in this case, because fuck yous. Nonsense do my head in. They're sickos. Love and horror don't go together. In this case, they don't. It's just horrendous. Like, it's awful, but we're not done yet. So we get to the end. We're nearly there. Get to the end. Helen drives off. The other teacher drives off with Duncan to the hospital, while Matt says he will wait for the police. And everything's all chill. And then all of a sudden, Matt reaches down and kisses Faye. And he's like, what's this? Oh no, is that your love spell working on me? And she's like, oh, it must be. And then the film ends. Like, what the hell is this? Fade the credits, done. This was mental. But what I would say is you have to watch it just because it's bonkers movie. It's so bad, it's funny. You know, it's one of those ones. You just have to watch and go, what the hell what is this? So there you go. There's my review. Oh my god, I seem to spend longer in the movies I don't like than the ones I do. I think what it is, if I like a movie, I don't want to spoil it because I want you to go see it. But if a movie's really terrible, then I don't mind going through the plot and going, yeah, fucking this is what happened. I think that's what my mindset is. Especially if I have people in the chat like Dale to talk to, I'm going to have a conversation too, because that's what this is all about. That's why I'm going live. It just makes it more fun and just makes the whole experience. That's what we're here to do at the end of the day. Just have a bit of a laugh, watch movies, either love them or hate them or laugh at them, whatever happens. Folks, give me suggestions. Just random movies, because that's the whole idea. I'm just going through random movies. I'm trying to, through the Horrific Talk spot we're on earlier, we'll have our 3 segments. We'll have our new releases, we'll have our remakes, and we'll have the like old timey vaults. So what I'm looking for in this segment is all those random movies that have appeared over the last 10 years or so, just popped up, that we can talk about. That some might be famous, some not so much, like this one, and just have a bit of fun. That's it. You know what I mean? That's what we're all here to do. So hope you enjoyed that one. Keep up to date with our social medias, etc., etc. Obviously, I'll stick these up before we give you a bit of warning. I'll try and do this as regularly as possible until I get busy again, and then we'll take it from there. Keep an eye out for all our segments. Plenty of them. We'll do everything horror you can imagine. And until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.